Everybody, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Melanie Beckett with Convey Compliance, and I'll be your host for this event. We're pleased today to have Andrew Elvester from Convey joining us. Andrew will discuss key tax reporting issues that may be impacting your company. He will also discuss the capabilities of eStatements and print services, and then we'll open it up for questions and answers from the audience. Just to let you know, too, that this webinar will be archived in the events section of the Convey website and available on demand at convey.com. So before we begin, I would like to let you know that if at any time during the presentation you'd like to submit a question, just type it in the questions box. Nobody else on the webinar today will be able to see your question. And at the end of the session today, our presenter will review your questions and respond during the Q&A session. Now we can get started with the presentation, and we'd like to start off by asking a question of the audience. And I will launch this poll here. And the poll question is, do you currently provide forms electronically to recipients via the web? And your answer choices are yes, we currently deliver forms electronically. No, we have no plans to provide forms at this time. And not today, but we would like to in the future. We'll give you a few seconds to respond to this question, and then Andrew will comment on the poll results. Thank you. Great. Looks like everybody has voted. Great. I'll share the results here.
All right, well, thank you, Melanie. Let's take a look at the results. So it looks like we have about 25% that don't have plans to provide forms electronically to their recipients. 75% are not currently doing it today but would like to in the future. So that's very interesting. That's very similar to the polls that we've done in the past as far as percentages. I think we've seen it as high as 78% for not providing it today but looking to do in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the results here. Okay, so today we're really going to be talking about delivering forms to recipients. We're going to talk about delivering them electronically via the web, and we're going to talk about the more traditional style of print services and how you can utilize Convey's services to print and mail your forms to your recipients. Then at the end we'll follow up with a Q&A section. So again, just as a reminder, before we start, if you do have a question, on the right-hand part of your screen in the GoToWebinar tool, there's a section for Q&A. So feel free to put in questions during the webinar. Again, other participants will not be able to see your questions, so feel free to ask any questions regarding these topics. So the question is, why do we have to do it? And really, why do we have to deliver forms to our recipients? And this is because regulations require us to deliver them. The new administration really wants to reduce the tax gap. Having the recipients have their forms and properly file correctly is part of reducing that tax gap. We know that many forms are never used, and a lot of the changes in the reprints to forms for corrections can be very either complex to run through your customer service organization, and they can be very expensive to do. So looking for solutions that help you with that really can help you be more cost effective in the process of delivering forms to your recipients. So today we're going to really focus on the electronic forms delivery and print services, and we'll be going into a little bit more details about that. Convey does also offer some services in the PIN compliance and the withholding management. We also have managed services that allow you to really reduce the burden of the 1099 process on your organization. And if you're interested in hearing more about the other services that Convey has to offer, we have more information on convey.com under our news and events section. We do have additional webinars as well as on-demand webinars that you can view. So form delivery issues. So you go through the process of consolidating and combining all of your forms, creating forms in January for all your recipients, and this is really done through all of the data that you import into your system from all of your source files. You're applying all the different limits. You're producing statements for those recipients, and you get into finally the printing and mailing of the recipients or of the forms to your recipients, or you're providing them in electronic format. And what we're hearing from our clients is that they're looking at electronic for a couple different reasons. So they're looking at electronic form delivery because of security. A lot of times when you print and mail forms to your recipients, it's going to say important tax information on the front, which is a very powerful signal for anyone that's looking for personal information to take that envelope and find out Social Security numbers, etc. And finally, the last piece is servicing the recipients. So providing the reprints and corrections can not only be time-consuming, but expensive to go through the process of reprinting it, mailing it. The recipient has to wait to receive it in the mail, whereas with electronic form delivery type solutions, you can do that real time, and your clients can be up and running and continue their filing. So eStatements is our electronic form delivery, and really what it allows you to do is reduce your print and mail volume significantly. By having your recipients go to your website and opt in to only receiving electronic statements, you reduce a lot of the needs for doing corrections because that can do electronically, and therefore you wouldn't need to reprint the the form and send it to your recipient. And again, this is something that can be done on your website through your secure login. It's nothing that they need to go to Convey's website for and log into. So eStatements provides real-time information. So if there's a change, corrections are available immediately for your recipient to download. And your forms, or your recipients, have the ability to opt in or opt out of receiving paper copies. And print and mail is up to 50% of the 1099 process. So up to 50% of the cost comes from printing and mailing. We actually will keep track of the opt-in and opt-out status for you. So there's no need to manage a list of who is opt-in for paper delivery or who's opt-in for electronic form delivery. And as that changes, as preference changes from your recipients, that list will be updated and maintained. So that was a quick overview on our electronic form delivery solution. At this time, we'd like to pull up a survey to figure out how you're currently doing any of your printing and mailing for your recipients.
Thanks, Andrew. I do have one more poll here. This is just another quick one. If you guys don't mind answering this, I'll launch that. Sorry, there we go. The question is, how do you handle your print and mailing? And our answer choices here are in-house, outside printer, or my current 1099 solution vendor manages the print and mail. I'll just give everybody a few minutes or a few seconds to answer. Great. Wonderful. Thank you so much for doing that. I will close the poll, and Andrew can comment on the results then.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share the results. Okay, it looks like about 2/3 are using in-house solution, and the others are using their current provider to do their printing. So about 1/3 using their current provider. So we'll go ahead and hide the results here. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the traditional printing and mailing of forms to recipients. So what we find when we talk with our clients is what's keeping them up at night is that they don't want to worry about envelopes being double stuffed, empty envelopes, forms going to the wrong address, personal information being shown through the window, whether that be a TIN or any dollar amounts on that. And this is something that seems like it might be easy to do, but when you're looking at doing multiple, or not multiple, but anywhere from hundreds to thousands of these forms, there's probably going to be an error if you're managing the process with an in-house process, or if you're doing it yourself. It's just very difficult to be accurate in doing this process. So the hard part about this process is controlling the costs. So postage is increasing, the cost of paper, the cost of labor is increasing, and return mail is always a problem. Having the correct address for your recipients, as they move, they change addresses, and it's not always updated in your system. So it's very hard to keep track of that. So some of the benefits of using Convey's print services is that we've got a lot of controls in place so that you can see where we're at with the status of the print job for you. It's also in a secure environment, and that may seem a little bit overkill, but what we find is if you're doing it in-house, a lot of times the envelopes, they'll sit on a desk or they'll sit in an area in a mail room that may be accessible to all the employees or people to walk through and look at, which is something to consider. From a data accuracy standpoint, we use a lot of different controls to ensure that the data that we have is accurate and that the recipients will receive the correct information. We also guarantee meeting regulatory deadlines so that we can make sure that you're being compliant and that you're meeting all the different regulatory deadlines. Our clients have also seen a lot of in-house, really in-house stress due to kind of last-minute filing, or the in-house printer may not be able to meet the requirements that there's new volumes and that's not properly forecasted. Then reduced postage rates. We can get reduced postage rates due to the bulk postage that we do for all of our clients together, but we also use the national change of address, so there's less returns, and this really causes or allows us to have a lower postage rate for all of our clients. So let me talk a little bit about what we do as far as our facilities that we use. So we've got multiple facilities that we use, and they're all certified to handle this type of documentation. The IRS uses a similar facility to do their mailing, so it's very structured. We've got a lot of quality controls put in place. They've got security and they've got data protection that's 365, 24/7, so you don't need to worry about your data. We meet all of the SAS 70 standards as well as ISO 27001, so that you can ensure that your data is safe and that it will be sent to your recipients properly. So let me talk a little bit about the print services process. So well before the tax season, Convey's clients establish the requirements and their schedules with our print services team and our statement of work. So this is a document that really establishes all your pricing, your details, any of your pre-production process, and it also really serves as a basis for the production for the work orders. So we go ahead and we identify the form types, we go through, estimate any of the form quantities, set the production schedules, order any optional services if you have special requirements for your forms and the way that they need to be printed, and we establish any other additional special requirements that you may have. So let me walk you through the process. So establish compliant criteria is the first process. We go ahead and create the work order. We test the files to make sure the control totals and the information is accurate based on what was provided. We go through a proofing stage. We show you the forms in a PDF format so you can review them and make sure that you're in agreement to what's being sent to your recipients. We go through the printing, and then we mail them to your recipients. So along the way, we're providing proactive status notifications. So we're letting you know that once we've reconfirmed all the controls based on the totals and that we're in agreement of how many forms are being sent out to your recipients, we let you know once it's been printed and once it's successfully been mailed to your recipients. So if your customer service receives a call, you'll know what information has been sent and when they can expect their forms to be delivered. So really what we want is we want Convey's print services to be your new sleep number. We have a guaranteed process put in place that provides increased accuracy, quality, and timeliness, as well as security around your form delivery for your recipients. We also provide the production processing as we go through the process, the ability to provide tracking and proactive notices, and proofing is all managed by Convey, so you don't have any reason to worry about your form delivery. So we do have a little bit of additional information we would like to give to you. If you're looking for more webinars, we have a tax reporting automation webinar, and this really goes around and talks about the 1099 process and automating that process to get greater efficiencies and become more compliant. And that's a webinar that we're holding on Wednesday, October 28th at 1 p.m. Central Time. It does say 2 p.m., but that is an error. If you're looking to sign up for this, this is a free webinar that can be found on convey.com. We also have a legacy information reporting systems webinar. So for those that are currently using a mainframe system or an in-house proprietary 1099 processing system, and that webinar is actually tomorrow at 10 a.m. And again, this is a free webinar. If you are interested in hearing more about that, you can go to convey.com under the News and Events section. So at this time, I pass over to Melanie.
Thanks, Andrew. And thanks, everybody, for being with us this morning. We do have some questions here that we are going to pull up here. And let's see. So the first one is, who provides the information for eStatements?
So, great question. Our eStatement solution is provided through our TaxPort software as a service solution, and that is provided through a web services call. Really, and what this allows you to do is provide real-time electronic form delivery to your recipients. By making changes in TaxPort, it's automatically updated real-time for your electronic form delivery.
Great. And then there's just one more question. You mentioned print and email can be up to 50% of the cost for tax information reporting process. How are the costs associated with this broken out?
So print and mail is, as Melanie mentioned, close to 50% of the cost of the 1099 process. Postage is always a big component of that. As postage increases, that's going to be something that I think everyone's going to be targeting. This is really where electronic form delivery can benefit an organization. By using electronic form delivery and having recipients opt in to receiving electronic form delivery only, you can cut anywhere from 50 to 80 cents per client And this is really giving you the ability to reduce the overall cost of your 1099 process.
Great. Okay. Well, that is all of the questions that we have for today. So we are going to end just a few minutes early. If you would like to learn how Convey can help your business, please contact us via email at sales@convey.com or call us at 800-334-1099. And on behalf of Convey, I would like to thank everybody again for joining us. Thank you. Goodbye.